All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Here in the dog days of summer, the New York Yankees are hanging around in the postseason race, but for how long? The Yankees have not had a losing record at any point of this season, but their play does not give hope in regards to them making the postseason should they, or even making a run in the postseason should they get in. Now, New York finished the first half of the season with a record of 49 and 42, but they're just 10 and 14 here in the second half. So far since the All-Star break, the Yankees have dropped series to the lowly Colorado Rockies and Chicago White Sox while also getting swept by the Los Angeles Angels. Over a 10-day stretch, New York faced the elite of the American League as they were able to go a combined 4-6 versus Baltimore Orioles, Tampa Bay Rays, and Houston Astros. But after dropping 2 out of 3 to the White Sox this week, New York is now 59 and 56 as they're 12 games behind the Baltimore Orioles for first place in the AL East, while they're also in the basement of that division. New York is also fading fast in the wild card race as they're now 5 games behind the Toronto Blue Jays for the final wild card spot in the American League, which includes being overtaken in the standings by the surging Seattle Mariners. There's still a little more than 40 games to go on this season, and anything can happen. But good luck telling that to Yankee fans who do not like the direction that their club is going in right now. And as there's plenty of finger pointing to go around these days in the Bronx, look no further than the brain trust of the Yankees to get started. Yankees team owner Hal Steinbrenner is a son of the late George Steinbrenner, who was simply known as the boss. Nothing went down with the Yankees without the boss's approval, and he had no problem letting everybody know who was in charge. But the younger Steinbrenner is clearly not his dad, and he almost appears to be forced at times to spend money because he simply owns the Yankees, while he is allowing, in my opinion, loyalty to cloud his better judgment. Since 1998, Brian Cashman has been the general manager of the Yankees, and on his watch, the New York won or has won 4 World Series championships, but the Yankees' last title came in 2009. And because of that, the Yankees fan base definitely wants answers. Cashman, to me, and I'm not the only one who's going to say this, he's too comfortable at his post. He's been there too long. And then on top of that, he's a family friend of the Steinbrenners. And for me, I feel that Hal Steinbrenner made a mistake bringing Cashman and manager Aaron Boone back this season. As you know, after last season, even though the Yankees did make the playoffs and make the LCS, Steinbrenner to me missed an opportunity to cut bait and go in a different direction. This season, you look at the Yankees, their offense is abysmal. They're 14th in the American League in hitting, 14th in hits, and then on top of that, 10th in runs scored. Their pitching has not been that much better, as with the exception of Garrett Cole, you're not really getting anything consistently out of this rotation. Carlos Rodon, a lot of money spent on him in the offseason. He's been a box office flop. He can't stay healthy, and he could be the new and improved Carl Pavano. And if you mention the name Carl Pavano to Yankee fans, obviously they know that that was not money well spent. Nestor Cortez, he cannot stay healthy either. And on top of that, he doesn't have the magic that he did last year on the mound. Domingo Herman, he's going to rehab now. You look at this lineup, Aaron Judge, he's playing hurt, but obviously he's not the guy that he was last year when he was balling out to get that big deal. Overall, the Yankees are just stuck with the contracts of Carlos Rodon and John Carlos Stanton. And then on top of that, this is the big part for me that falls into the lap of Brian Cashman. The Yankees made no moves whatsoever at the trade deadline, while all the other contenders around them in the American League, not just the American League East, got better. at the trade deadline. So you look at this team right now, and in my opinion, maybe, just maybe, missing the playoffs would be the best thing possible for the Yankees. And I say that because then I do believe that they'd be forced to make some moves. But honestly, in my opinion, this Yankees organization, they need some fundamental changes. And I think it starts at the minor league level. Obviously, what is being taught is not working because you're trying to catch up with trends, if you will, and everybody, or the bulk of Major League Baseball, is swinging for the fences, and it's not working for the Yankees. You look at it not just from the home run standpoint, but from their average, from their on base percentage. The Yankees are terrible this year when it comes to hitting, and that has to change going forward, not just this season, but in the seasons coming. So you look at the Yankees, they got to try to figure something out because long term, because this American League East, you know, is better than them. The Orioles are young, they're a much better team. The Tampa Bay Rays, a better fundamentally organizational run club right now. You look at the Toronto Blue Jays, they have some studs in their squad. This is a rebuilding year for the Boston Red Sox, and they're better than the Yankees right now. So things definitely have to improve for the Yankees. One big question: will Hal Steinbrenner continue to be loyal to Brian Cashman? And unfortunately, Yankee fans aren't going to want to hear this, but I'm going to say yes. You know, Steinbrenner just gave Cashman a new deal this past off season, and then on top of that, for the past couple of years, Brian Cashman has basically had carte blanche with the Yankees. And anytime that happens, a guy is too comfortable. I'll say this: Brian Cashman should be thankful that he does not have to deal with George Steinbrenner. I'm talking about George Steinbrenner in his prime, the 1970s, 1980s George Steinbrenner. That George Steinbrenner would have fired Brian Cashman years ago. Brian Cashman would have had his stuff packed. He'd have been on the Major Deegan, heading out of town, going someplace else. But the fact is, Hal Steinbrenner allows Brian Cashman to hang around. And as long as Brian Cashman continues to call the shots for these Yankees, the results on the baseball field are not going to be great. They're not going to be championship level results in favor of the Pinstripers. Will Aaron Boone be the manager of the Yankees in 2024? That could be a different question. I know Boone just got a new deal as well, but guess what? Just like Brian Cashman once upon a time made Joe Torre the scapegoat for things going wrong with the Yankees, don't think that he won't do the same to Aaron Boone, even though that he was handpicked to come in here and lead this team on the field. It's one of those where, you know what, Aaron Boone obviously will stick up for his guys. Aaron Boone will fight for his guys. We've seen that through the ejections. But at the end of the day, his hands are tied. He's trying to do the best he can with this roster. And honestly, this is not a championship caliber roster that we're seeing right now from the Yankees. At least salary wise, you can come from under Josh Donaldson's contract at the end of the year. But nonetheless, Brian Cashman, not Aaron Boone, has made some bad moves to put the Yankees in this situation. So you look at New York right now. They got a three-game set that begins tonight in Miami with the Marlins. Some possibilities there for the Yankees due to the fact that the Marlins are slumping big time in the National League. But then after that, it gets very tough as the Yankees are going to be on the road beginning Monday for a three-game set with the Atlanta Braves. And the Braves right now are looking like the team to beat as far as winning the World Series. The Yankees are then back home next weekend for a three-game set against the Boston Red Sox. That could go any way. Excuse me. And then they host the Washington Nationals for three. And yes, the Nationals are in at last place in the National League East. But the Nationals have been playing some good baseball as of late. You cannot take this team for granted. And we've seen that already as the Yankees have lost series so far this second half versus teams that they should have beat. And then from there, it's three with the Tampa Bay Rays, four with the Detroit Tigers, and then three with the Houston Astros, who they just split a four-game set with in the Bronx. But nonetheless, if you are the Yankees, it's gut check time. It's put up or shut up. And if the Yankees cannot find their footing within the next 2 weeks, it might be time to start looking ahead to the 2024 season. I'll tell you like this: the Yankees missed a golden opportunity to get something at the trade deadline, and it has hurt them. Not just the fact that they didn't do something, but the other teams around them made it their business to get better. At the end of the day, this mess that we're seeing in the Bronx falls into the lap of Brian Cashman. It also falls into the lap of Hal Steinbrenner. Hal Steinbrenner is allowing it to happen. And like I said before, Brian Cashman is simply too comfortable. When you've had that post for that long, okay, it's a comfort thing. You think about it. George Steinbrenner fired Bob Watson in the midst of winning. He had no problem moving on from managers throughout the 1980s and 1990s. And again, like I said before, Brian Cashman should simply thank his lucky stars that he doesn't have to deal with George Steinbrenner in his prime. The Yankees, yes, they have a winning record, but when it comes to their standards, they are far from reaching, those lofty goals, if you will. But nonetheless, this team's been a disappointment all year. And as long as the people in charge continue to be the people in charge, do not expect better results in the Bronx. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now, you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.